Well, guys, we're going to be talking about Stephen A. Smith and one Joe Biden here in this video. Because Stephen A. Smith on his podcast, there's a clip, it's going viral, of Stephen A. Smith saying, "We need a new president." Now, also in this clip, guys, Stephen A. Smith has actually admitted that he voted for Joe Biden in 2020. Now, I didn't know that. Probably kind of speculated that he did, but we got confirmation. He did vote for Joe Biden. That is his own words. And like a lot of people who voted for Joe Biden, they don't want him to run again. Stephen A. Smith in this clip says, "We need a new president." Now, that is about the only thing I'm actually going to agree with Stephen A. Smith on. But however, guys, we got a major problem here, guys. We have a major problem because a lot of Democrats don't want Joe Biden to run. They don't. We already know he's running again. There's going to be absolutely zero debates because the DNC wants to protect Beijing Biden. The man's old. He's broken. He keeps falling. He can't speak. He is 80 years old. But will that actually stop Democrats from voting for him? I got to be real, guys. I don't think so. I really don't. Now, Charlemagne is a prime example. Charlemagne the God in 2020. Not a fan of Joe Biden at all. Not a fan. It was actually on Charlemagne's show where Joe Biden actually said, "If you don't vote for me, you ain't black." And guess what? Charlemagne said, "I ain't for Joe Biden. I ain't for him. I'm a Kamala." And he says, "I'm going to vote for Kamala," which essentially means you're voting for Joe Biden because they were on the same ticket. Now, Charlemagne has been out here again saying the same thing. He didn't like Biden. But what are the odds that Charlemagne actually changes his vote? Slim. Probably the same way with Stephen A. Smith here, guys, because he pretty much all confirmed that no matter what, he's probably going to end up voting the same way. This is the problem with Democrats, man. This is the problem. If you guys don't want Joe Biden, you guys need to hold the DNC accountable. Have debates. Have primaries. You know, Joe Biden's fate is actually in your hands for the primaries. That's going to be up to you. But if Joe Biden actually ends up winning the presidency again, guess what? If things get worse, and chances are it'll get worse, that is on you Democrat voters. It'll be your fault. You guys already seen his track record. It is absolutely horrible. Horrible. But let's go ahead and dive into some of this stuff that Stephen A. Smith actually has to say. Let's play it.
It's just my personal opinion. That's all it is. Take it for what it's worth. Somebody's got to say it, so I'm going to say it. We need a new president in 2024. We need a new president. Now, when we saw what we saw the other day, Biden handing out diplomas to graduates at the Air Force Academy in Colorado, and we saw him fall. You'll see it right here. Watch him. He tripped over a sandbag.
Embarrassing.
Let me be very clear about where I'm going with this. That could happen to anybody. It's not a big deal. I've tripped and bust my behind on several occasions, sometimes running up the stairs. It happens. It's not the end of the world. It's not evidence that he's just not all there. But he is 80.
Well, he's old as hell.
He'll be 81 by the end of his term. Approaching 82. And there have been times where you've looked at him and you said, I don't know. I'm not calling for him to be removed from office. I'm not calling for the 25th Amendment to be invoked so Kamala Harris could take over the presidency and all of this other stuff. That's not what.
Now, I got to admit, guys, I got to admit this. If the 25th Amendment is actually invoked, Kamala Harris becomes the president, look out. Things could actually get worse. Yes, Kamala Harris is actually that bad, guys. She is completely incompetent. The only reason why she is actually Joe Biden's number 2 is because she's a woman, she's a POC, and that's pretty much it. She's completely incompetent, guys, and they all knew it. That is why you're not hearing any Democrats say, hey, let's run Kamala. None of them, even the black Democrats, none of them are saying run Kamala because she's that bad.
What I'm saying, I'm not trying to disrespect our president. I mean, I like some of the things that he did as a senator. Remember, he was a part of that crime bill in the 90s.
No, he's the orchestrator of the crime bill in the 90s that locked up a whole bunch of black people. Yeah, remember that.
He was one of those people that was calling folks predators, even though the Congressional Black Caucus obviously had no problem with him taking that position at that time, which is a different subject altogether. I am in no way trying to disrespect our president. I voted for him. And based on some of the leading candidates on the right side, I'd probably be forced to vote for him again.
You see, that's the problem right there. He says, I'll be forced to vote for him again. Well, that's why you got primaries, Democrats. It seems like, the Democrats that are complaining about Joe Biden, they just want to fold over and say, all right, we're stuck with Biden right here. I hate it. Of course, we can't vote for the orange man, even though the economy was better. The whole country was better. I have more money in my pocket. But let's just vote Democrat. This is the problem right here, guys. This is the problem. Even if, and I'm talking to you Democrat voters here, even if Joe Biden is the nominee, guess what? You have a choice still. You don't have to vote for him. You can actually vote for someone else. Don't feel like that you have to vote for Joe Biden. You can vote for whoever you want. Write him in. I've actually done a write-in candidate before. Just because a name is actually on that ballot doesn't mean you got to vote for him. If you don't like any of the candidates, write in somebody that you do like. It's perfectly legal.
Because they scared the living hell out of me with some of the things that they're preaching about. But I wouldn't like it.
So right there, vote for Biden, but he wouldn't like it. Think about that. And Stephen A., what's so scary about what some of the people on the right are actually doing? Hey, you can't indoctrinate your children. You can't give sex changes to children. Does that scare you? I think common sense people actually don't want their children being indoctrinated. But maybe Stephen A. Smith is actually listening to left-wing media.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, without trying to engage in any kind of ageism at all, because I don't believe in it, there does come a point in time where there are certain jobs you don't need. It's not that you don't need to be working. It's not that you don't need to be living your life. It's not that you don't need to be living a very vibrant lifestyle or anything like that. But there are responsibilities that are far, far, far more extensive than, let's say, the typical 9 to 5 that somebody in their 80s may not need to be doing. I think the presidency is one of them. I do. And even though that's not a big deal because anybody could have tripped over a sandbag, you know what the Republicans are going to do during the campaign. Every word he stutters, every sentence he fumbles, and Lord help him if he trips and falls again, all they're going to do is try to indicate that that's a reason as to why you shouldn't vote for him.
That's a major reason. The man can't speak. They give him cue cards telling him what to do. Biden can't even think for himself. A lot of people do believe that this is Obama's third term. This is not the same Joe Biden from 10, 15 years ago. His policies have always been bad. But now when he starts losing his mind, it gets worse. And you're living that right now.
But here's one of my biggest reasons. And again, forget Biden for a second, because this is no disrespect to him. What does it say about our country where we're looking at an 80-year-old who'll be 82 if he wins the presidency again?
Blame that on Democrats. That is the Democrats' fault.
2024. What does it say about our country if that's what we're depending on? I mean, to the Democrats, y'all ain't got nobody? Nobody?
No, they don't.
I know it's a double negative. I know I'm grammatically incorrect. It's on purpose. It's for effect. Damn, y'all don't got nobody? Nobody? Nobody.
Well, Stephen A., you don't have to vote Democrat. Like I said, you can vote independent. You can vote Republican. You can vote for whoever. You don't have to vote Democrat.
Well, I do.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Let me give you a few names. You know, they talked about some woman, Marianne Williamson,
Oh, God.
an author and spiritual advisor who sought the Democratic nomination in 2020, the first Democrat to officially declare her candidacy, jumping into the race.
Yeah, she was a virtue signaler. She was actually telling white people to kneel down and ask for forgiveness to black people. And they were like crying and stuff. It was awful. It was a terrible virtue signal. She's terrible.
Race, despite indications that the president will seek another term. She has no political experience. She has no chance.
No, that's true.
This is not
Didn't have a
Trump
chance.
part deux. Ain't happening. Okay? Robert F. Kennedy Jr., we can't forget him. He's 69, by the way, nephew of President John F. Kennedy and the son of his slain brother, Robert F. Kennedy. Both assassinated. What is he famous for? Other than once being a best-selling author, I would know something about that, straight shooter, memoir of second chances and first takes. Check your local bookstores. Online as well, you'll see my book, Stephen A. Smith, straight shooter. I know something about being a best-selling author. He was also an environmental lawyer. But now what is he most famous for? Being an anti-vaccine activist whose work has been described by public health experts and members of his own family as misleading and dangerous.
Well, they truly don't want RFK Jr. because he's not radical enough. If you actually listen to what RFK Jr. has been saying, he sounds more like a traditional liberal. He's not woke enough for the Democrats. He has publicly said, I am against transgenders in women's sports. He has absolutely said that. And of course, that's going to disqualify you if you want to be a Democrat. They don't like him.
I threw out those two names because those are two official candidates. Can I give you some unofficial ones? Just for consideration?
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Can I give you one, please? I can give you a Democratic choice right now that is unbeatable. Nobody will beat this person. Nobody. Michelle Obama. She'd win by a landslide.
A landslide. A landslide?
I don't care if there's a woman alive who wouldn't vote for Michelle Obama. Maybe you could find a few, I guess. Won't be many. 99% of the female population in this country will vote for Michelle Obama. And let me tell you something else. So would 99% of the black community.
Now, he's probably right about majority of the black community, mainly black women. But black men aren't on that plantation like black women. Now, a landslide, Michelle Obama's not winning Texas. She's not going to win majority of the South. She's not. She's not winning Texas. I don't think she's winning Louisiana. She ain't winning Florida. Florida has turned into a red state on the right. Michelle Obama and a radical leftist, they're not winning the South. Let's just be clear about that.
So would at least 89% of the Hispanic community. I predict at least 80% of the white community will vote for Michelle Obama. Now, we know she ain't running. She detests Capitol Hill. She was there for 8 years as the first lady. We can't knock her for that. We know this is pie in the sky. She ain't going that route. We get that. We understand it. But she is unbeatable. Nobody would beat her. Nobody. I don't care what they say, especially in the day and age when Roe v. Wade has been overturned. There's no way in hell she would lose.
Oh, God.
But
so you mean to tell me that people in the South who actually do support Roe versus Wade being overturned, they're all of a sudden going to vote for Michelle Obama over Roe versus Wade? Makes absolutely no sense, Stephen A. But Stephen A. Smith is a New Yorker, okay? He ain't from the South like me.
that's pie in the sky. I'm obligated to point out Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, God.
Senator from Massachusetts.
She's a radical.
Because obviously she's ran before and she's hinted at running again. My issue with Elizabeth Warren is one thing and one thing only. If you don't agree with her, she makes you feel like you're going to hell.
Same thing with Beijing Biden. Same thing.
That's my only problem with Elizabeth Warren. I'm not talking policy. I'm certainly not talking character or anything like that. Very smart, highly intellectual, what have you. It's just that every time I listen to her speak, when she's talking to people, it's like if you don't agree with her, you're destined for hell. She always has this high moral ground that exceeds everyone else's. That bothers me. Sorry to sound like Mad Dog Russo from Mad Dog Russo, but that bothers me. I don't like that. Bernie Sanders, look, I want to go home with more than 20% of my money. Sorry.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders is a complete socialist. A complete socialist. He's also older than Joe Biden.
I'm a capitalist. I believe every American citizen should walk home with at least 50% of their money.
Yeah, but you want us to go out there and vote for socialists. That's pretty funny right there.
I believe that. But here's some other candidates. I wouldn't mind seeing Hillary Rodham Clinton take a third shot.
That's funny right there. Democrats don't even like Hillary. And Hillary has been exposed for the whole Russia collusion thing. She is a liar. Stephen A. Smith, are you serious? Are you serious, Stephen A. Smith?
The woman is just smart. Everybody trying to talk about whatever it is that they think she's done and corrupt and, that
she's completely corrupt.
33,000 emails that stop it.
Yeah, what she did should have actually got her thrown in prison.
You had Trump for 4 years. You ain't in no position to be talking about people and their behavior. Hell with that.
What? Okay.
And by the way, she won a popular vote. Third shot at Hillary Rodham Clinton, I wouldn't mind. Although I'm totally not down with Gavin Newsom and the policies in California. I think he'd be a better candidate than Biden right now.
Okay. He's probably right about that. But the thing is, if you look at California, Gavin Newsom, so horrible that so many people are leaving California, though. But the thing is, when you actually elect Democrats like him, your state would actually turn into California. Look at Minnesota. We just did a live stream today, guys. Minnesota, run by Democrats. They are actually going to pay a criminal that's in prison right now $495,000. Why? Because this criminal said his constitutional rights were actually violated because he believes he's a woman. And now they're actually going to transfer him and any man that wants to identify as a woman to a female prison. Yeah, this is what happens when you vote Democrat.
You know who else I like? I like Hakeem Jeffries.
Oh, God.
Minority whip in the House for the Dems. I like Hakeem Jeffries. I wouldn't mind seeing him go at it. I like Hakeem Jeffries. Okay? This ain't gonna happen either. But because I'm about my business, and although I'm socially liberal, I'm fiscally conservative.
Well, Democrats want to spin everything out into oblivion. But go ahead, vote for him, Stephen A.
I do like the idea of a businessman.
You had Trump. Everything was great. It was great.
Somebody that knows business, that knows something about an economy, that knows what it takes.
We had him. His name was Trump.
To resurrect fledgling things. I think Bob Iger is the greatest I've ever seen.
Bob Iger, guys. Now, newsflash. Bob Iger, CEO of the Walt Disney Company, who actually owns ESPN, who Stephen A. Smith actually works for, by the way. Bob Iger is running Disney into the ground. But Stephen A. Smith says he's a good businessman. Now, before Disney got woke, yeah, they were rolling. But then they actually got woke under Bob Iger. And now, guys, that Disney stock is in the trash. It's in the trash. All the products that they're putting out in the movie theater isn't making money. The woke Little Mermaid, about to lose money. The Indiana Jones movie, projecting to lose money. All under Bob Iger.
I just do. He'll never run. I mean, he's living his life, running Disney, but this man has hovered over Disney for 16 plus years. The troubles, the storms that Disney's experienced right now ain't his fault.
Yes, it is.
Hell, even the stuff with DeSantis ain't his fault. That was happening before he came back.
But we all know that Bob Iger was running things behind the scenes. He never left as CEO of Disney when he stepped down. Bob Chapek was there, but Bob Iger was right there behind him.
Bob Iger's that dude. Ain't gonna happen. I'm just telling you my personal preferences. And in terms of the plausible, Bob Iger's not gonna happen. Michelle Obama's not gonna happen. Hakeem Jeffries is a possibility. Gavin Newsom's obviously a possibility. Respectfully to the president, smart, accomplished, been around a long time, no disrespect whatsoever, I voted for you. Yeah. I just don't believe somebody in their 80s should be running the country. Just like I thought Ruth Bader Ginsburg should have walked away while Obama was still in office so he could have selected her successor, but she wanted to hold on to her seat because you know what? That means Hillary Rodham Clinton is going to win the election, and that way a woman will select my successor. Very arrogant on her part. She assumed Hillary was going to win. She was wrong. Trump won. Then she passed away. God bless.
Man, thank goodness that Ginsburg did not retire. Thank goodness. Thank goodness, man. Luckily, we technically have a, what's the number? You can't trust John Roberts. He sides with the libs a lot. But thank God for Trump for actually getting 3 conservatives on that court.
Bless and rest her soul. And as a result, instead of a 5-4 majority on the conservative side in the court, it's now 6-3.
More 5-4.
And if DeSantis or Trump wins, it'll be 7-2. Because we arrogantly think we could just wait and it's people's turn. And also, the American people decide that. Not you. Let us pick who the best candidate is. And if we don't believe it's Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom or Joe Biden, or we prefer Michelle Obama or Hakeem Jeffries or even Elizabeth Warren or somebody, then let that be the case.
Wow. Fascinating, guys. Fascinating. But this is the problem with Democrat voters, man. This is the problem. Stephen A. slams Joe Biden, doesn't want him, but hey, I may vote for him anyway. That is the problem. If you do not want a person, do not vote for them. I've never voted for a single politician that I didn't want. Never. Never will. If I don't support you, then I'm not going to vote for you. Guess what, guys? If it actually came down to, let's say Biden on one side and Liz Cheney on the other side, guess what? I'm not voting for either of them. Either. They're not getting my vote. None of them are getting my vote. Neither one. I would actually go out there and I would actually write in a candidate that I like. You could do that. But that's the problem with Democrats, man. This is the problem with Democrats right here. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.